Former Marine, how would you and your fellow troops in the day, how would you feel if you had to be deployed to a Los Angeles area, any big city in this country, to sort of quell unrest?
I mean, I know the Marines that are there, that are deployed, they want to do their duty, they want to do right, and they want to defend the Constitution. But I think we all recognize, every veteran I've talked to recognizes that this could end horrifically. The Marines from 2-7, who are the Marine unit that's been sent there, they're an infantry unit, which means they're trained to close with and destroy the enemy. They've been training to do this for many months, and the training that they've just had on how to deal with civilians, maybe they've gotten in the past 24 to 48 hours, if that.
All right, so you may have heard me speaking with our White House correspondent earlier. They're going to be issued some sort of a card by which you're laughing. What would that card potentially say? Because I guess there's a logistical role. When I think of that, I think, what are you going to be driving them around from place to place? What do you think this card entails?
So I believe that the card that they received indicates what's called the standing rules on the use of force, which is slightly different than the rules of engagement. It applies to how soldiers would conduct escalation of force engagement with civilians. Unfortunately, a card, it runs contrary to how they've been trained for this many months, since boot camp even. So when, things happen, they're going to react as they've been trained. And in 1992, when the Insurrection Act was invoked by George H.W. Bush, Marines actually opened fire on a house, unleashing hundreds of rounds and nearly killing everyone inside. Thankfully, nobody was actually hurt, just because the police said, cover me. Because cover me to a police officer means something entirely different than cover me to a Marine.
Are you referencing the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles? Los Angeles again. What is it specific to Los Angeles? Do you have any inclination what, not only that, I mean, I lived in LA at the time too, right? And it was pretty horrific. I remember the fires there. I remember ash coming down from the sky because of tires being burned and the like. But this administration, what is it about Los Angeles that you think gets under President Trump's skin?
I mean, I think he hates that it's a multicultural city. It's one of our great cities. And, having grown up there, like you said, it's a wonderful place where there's a lot of activism and a lot of protests and a lot of engagement by the citizenry. And it's a hugely diverse city. And I think it's something that scares him because it's a vision of America that he's entirely opposed to.
Here's something that scares you, by my understanding, reading an article that you wrote, or an op-ed rather, in Slate. You talk about quoting what Donald Trump had said back in 2020 when he was speaking with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I believe this is in regard to some Black Lives Matter protests that were underway. He said, can't you just shoot them in the leg or something? Expand on why you were fearful at that point hearing that, and what you think that portends for now.
I think what a lot of civilians don't understand is the degree to which it's very, very hard to not obey an order when you're in the military. So everyone that's serving has an obligation to disobey unlawful orders. So if President Trump orders them to shoot someone, they should say no. But there's no real mechanism in place for them to do that. And the pressure in those moments is intense. And so I think our fear is that if Trump issues an unlawful order like that to kill an American civilian or to fire on an American civilian crowd, there's going to be nothing to stop them from that happening.
We've heard reports of journalists and others on the ground being shot with rubber bullets, if you will, although I did read about one reporter, I believe a photographer, who his leg got shredded. Talk about the rubber bullet versus a live bullet. First of all, would Marines be outfitted with rubber bullets?
So a rubber bullet can blind people, can kill people. Even though they are not metal bullets, they can be lethal. They're often referred to as less lethal. The Marines who are going to be deployed will very likely be deployed with, I would assume, normal bullets, the regular 5.56 round that M16s and other weapons they carry fire. In addition, the Associated Press has reported that they're carrying their standard weapons, which would include machine guns, which can fire up to hundreds of rounds per minute. And with police kettling tactics, where they kind of condense protesters, if Marines with machine guns were to open fire on that, you could have an enormous mass casualty incident that would surpass pretty much anything that America's ever seen.
All right, with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachaha, Quadash, double honor to the elders and apostles of Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom, Barakathum. And that what you just heard was a Marine giving his take on the LA riots. And this is why we as men of the Lord, we tell you to watch and pray, all right, as we are commanded to do. Watch and pray, okay? And it says pray without ceasing. Why? Because the days that we're getting ready to come into are evil. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, and this is what we're getting on everyone about. Okay, let me see. Let me find. We were just reading it recently. Evil day. I may have to come back to it. But this is what we warn you about constantly, okay? Because as the scriptures say, the devil has come down having great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. And he knows that his days are numbered, okay? He knows that his days are numbered, man. You know, I'm going to go to 2 Ezra 15 because that's really what this goes into. But when this guy here, he spoke about how it's very hard for a Marine to not obey an order. All right. And that's what you don't realize is that y'all are thinking about this as illegal and unconstitutional. Well, the Supreme Court is not going to review this case until after your ass is in the spirit world. OK. In the meantime, these Marines are going to have orders. OK. And they got ways to set up, false flags and Salaki, my phone keeps. I don't want it to stop the recording, but they got ways of having to egg these things on. You got provocateurs, okay? You have agent provocateurs, all right? You have instigators, okay? You have people supplying these things. There are websites out there that are designed to help you join in on the madness, okay? And they won't be able to make heads or tails, but Esau will be, because he's got this technology now, this Palantir technology. He can sift the whole crowd, man, okay? He can look at your height, your weight, okay? If he catches your face, he can scan that, all right? And he can have a complete profile on the individuals that are out there rioting and causing problems, okay? And ultimately, when they have these things linked to things like your bank account or your address or your tax return, well, guess what? They ain't got to come find you, okay? You see? And see, these are what we're talking about, but the degree of violence that's on the horizon that we're very, very close to, people don't consider, okay? People don't consider these things, man, okay? I can actually keep going in this. 2 Ezra 9, it says, let me see. Yeah, verse 3, it says, therefore there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Okay, so when it says when the Lord's getting ready to visit the world which he made, okay, this is one of the signs, earthquakes and uproars of the people, which you see. Okay, and these people are ready for an uproar. They're looking for an excuse to basically riot because people don't have it. Okay, they don't have it on groceries. They don't have it on rent. Okay, they constantly convince themselves through social media they deserve this, they deserve that, and so a thing like that's supposed to be a luxury, like a vacation. Okay, people are starved for that as well, man. There's people crashing out, taking out credit cards just to blow it on a vacation. They know they're not going to pay it back. But they just want to live it up, okay? It's called doom spending, because deep down they know that this thing is over with, okay? And they're relying on the government to come up with the solution. And we all know the solution they're going to offer you is going to further give them power and take away power from you, because that's the whole reason they put you in this predicament, okay? Verse 4, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay, and so the watchman is a very, very, very serious role. Okay, it's not to be taken lightly. You shouldn't be, doing gimmicks, holding up swords with live streams. Okay, looking to score points off of playing off of the flesh of people. Okay, playing off of their desires, the thing they want to see. Okay, they heard about the so-called black woman, so you do a bunch of videos about the so-called black woman. Okay, because what you're just doing, you're just feeding the flesh. Okay, when on our job is to edify through the spirit. Okay, now we know you can rebuke individuals. Okay, and it can be entertaining. And, you know, oftentimes it is entertaining to the flesh, but there's a spiritual edification in it, and that's supposed to be the point of why we do these things. Okay, we're not here to entertain. We're not here to get clicks. We're not here to make people feel better. Okay, we're here to warn the sheep as watchmen and work out our own salvation. Okay, and the elect will hear it. Okay, and they will respond to it because it's already written that they would, because that's the means by our salvation. Okay, this is verse 5. It says, "For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." Okay, and so Ezra again speaks about the 12 parts, and we're at the end of the 12th part. Okay, the 12th part is essentially over with. We're just waiting on the Lord to return, man. Okay, and these are all the signs that tells you that he's very, very, very close. So all of you bullshit and all of you thinking that you got time, or you think that you can slide back in, or you think the Lord is just going to forgive you because you dropped the plow, that ain't the case. Okay, see, that's why the Lord told us to monitor the fruits of a man. Okay, it ain't, because Jake can convince you of a lot, man. You let Jake start talking, he got a mouth on him, you know. But the Lord said what in Jeremiah? Okay, he's coming to do what? Jeremiah 17:10, "I, the Lord Yahweh, search the heart, I try the reins." Okay, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of their doings. Okay, so you're not going to be able to make an excuse. There's no amount of remorse you're going to be able to have if you haven't been putting in work. If you knew better, okay, and you decided to shrug the Lord off or postpone it, okay, or say you got time, or I'm gonna worry about that later. Okay, you have no fruit. There's no fruit from your doings. Okay, and the scriptures say, "Blessed is he that is found so doing." Okay, so you got to be in this thing, man. You got to be invested now, because the scriptures say it's going to come as a thief in the night. Okay, and if you get caught off guard, that is a wrap. I can't save you. Nobody can save you. Okay, all right. Okay, verse 6, it says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. Okay, so the way as miraculous as the world was created, you know, you just imagine how the heavens and the earth and the plants and the animals and all of these were created, and all the way up to the Garden of Eden, it was just a beautiful paradise. That's how the world is going to end. It's going to be just as miraculous, okay, and wonderful in the sense that you're going to be like, damn, okay. The scriptures say the whole earth is going to move, okay, and shake to and fro, okay. Islands and land masses are going to be moved out of its place. The continents you see as today is not going to be the case when the Lord is done with this place, okay. And it says, verse 7, "And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works." Okay, so you can't just wait on the sideline and just kind of know in your mind. It ain't enough to know. Okay, how does the Lord know that you have faith? Through some type of work. Okay, if you're not preaching or teaching, okay, you should be giving. Okay, you should be in contact with brothers. You should be investing. Okay. All right. Now you got to ask yourself, okay, I can't save you. Okay. Now you got to ask yourself, is saying Shalom on the comment board enough? Are you willing to risk it knowing what's getting ready to happen to these people, thinking that Khan, Shalom, and you post a precept here and there? Okay. If you knew how evil the days was, okay, then you would not take or put any of these things up to chance. And this is why you're gonna have a lot of men coming out at the last minute. They're gonna be physically coming out wanting to get understanding. Well, where were you? Okay, it says, verse 8, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So that's the scary part. Okay, that the Lord already chose. He's already sanctified a group of men that had it in them to do the right thing. And how do you know that? They're going to be seeking the Lord early. Okay, you would be able to see it in their fruits. Okay, now that doesn't mean men won't come in at the last minute and be sincere and the Lord won't deliver them. But you're playing with fire, man. If you know this and you're just sitting on the sideline, and thinking the Lord said He can give you in the 11th hour. No, the Lord's gonna save who He wants to save, and at the end of the day, it's gonna be every man's story is written. Okay, I'll put it to you that way. And you want to hope that you're written favorably in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, and the best way to do that is just to do what He wants you to do, man, ASAP. Okay, make no tarrying to come to the Lord. That's in the scriptures. But Romans 11:4, it says, but what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So those men are reserved already. Okay, we all were sinners, like as Paul says, such were some of you. We all were into it, but at the end of the day, our lot is to be reserved to do the right thing, even in the face of death, even in the face of wickedness. Okay, at the face of shame and ridicule. That's the imagery. This is the purpose of Yahushai's sacrifice. Okay, did He not have to endure all of those things? Okay, but these men are already predestined. Okay, and so if you're moving like you're of the elect already, then more than likely you're not of the elect, because the elect are going to have some degree of humility. The elect are going to be doing what they know pleases the Lord. Okay. All right. It says, verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful, 2 Ezra 9:9, then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torment. And this is going to be, America's going to be in unfathomably tormented, man. Okay. I'm talking about people are going to be having deaths of despair. They're going to be depressed. All right. They're not going to know where their meal's coming from. Half people don't even know who their kids are. Okay. If their kids belong to them. Okay. Then it's going to get worse. Okay. And it's going to stack and stack and stack, man, like plagues. Okay. Then people are going to be food insecure. Then it's going to turn out into famine. Then the sword's going to come out. Okay. Then your families are going to get separated. Okay. Then the wild beasts are going to be out. Strange apparitions. All right. All kind of unsavory things, happening at nighttime. Okay. People are going to be getting jacked up out here, and that's all going to lead to people taking the charagma, which is the beast system, and then the missiles are going to hit. Okay. This place is not. You don't want to die the second death, man, okay? It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. So, see, you think the benefits that you're getting right now are enough, and it's not, okay? The benefits cannot even save the elite. When it's all said and done, the elites are going to get grabbed up. And all of these bunkers that they have, these various places and hideouts that they have, that's all going to be found out. And they're going to get put in and changed, man. So what chance do you have? Okay. You might as well get with it, man. Okay. It says, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not, but despised it. Okay. Now, this is going to be, I think that was where I was looking for. Yep. In 2 Ezra 14, it says, And 14, let go of the mortal thoughts and cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Why does it say that? You got to use critical thinking. Why is it saying that? Because this time is going to be it's going to be tormentuous. So if that's a word, tormenting. Okay. Torturous. Okay. That's the time that we're going into. It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Okay. Why is it saying set aside most heavy? Because you're going to be in the middle of it. You're going to see your own mother get clipped. Okay. Your best friend. You may have to let your dog go. You may have to do something strange. You women out there. Okay. For a piece of change. You're gonna catch every bit, all of the pride that's been welling up in you, thinking that you got it or America's got it. This place is gonna go on forever. That Isaiah 47 spirit, okay. All of that is gonna fall in on you, man. It's gonna collapse on you, okay. The whole weight of your pride is just gonna fall on your head, and you're gonna be lost, destitute, and then you're gonna get destroyed, okay. It says, verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Okay, so that's what I mean when it says measure the time. Okay, because it's about to get worse. It's about to get worse, and America is set up for the worst because this is where people are the most comfortable. This is the seat of comfort in the entire earth, man. Okay, even homeless people are obese. Okay, this place is got no borders. It's the land of unwalled villages. You're set up for comfort. You're complaining about your pizza being delivered on time. Okay. that's what you're complaining about. You're stressed out, because this didn't happen and that didn't happen. You're mad because your sports team lost. Okay. You're crashing out over menial things. So what's going to happen when real essentials get taken away from you? Okay. Which the internet is not even essential, but it's going to feel essential to a lot of you. Then what happens when food gets taken away from you? You see, it's not going to hit the people in a village in India the same as a proud American. 1144 call. See, so that's what you got to look forward to. And this Marine is breaking it down. Okay. I like this verse, 2 Ezra 15:3. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, because there's going to be a lot of people speaking against us. People are going to want enemies, people to blame. Okay. And that's what Esau is there for, to give you a target, that back in the day in the 50s and before, the target was essentially openly Jake, man. When an Edomite had a downturn or the Great Depression hit him and he lost everything, the way that they made them lower class whites feel better was pointing them towards Jake. Go lynch a Negro, man. He's the reason. Okay. He's the reason for your problems. And you had a punching bag, So they're gonna make that avatar of the savage, the brute, the beast, the low IQ, the can't control his anger. They're radical, whatever term they want to use to ascribe, to you. They're gonna do it, man. Okay, because they're the real culprits. Okay, they're the real guilty ones, and they want blame on somebody else. Okay. It says, verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So you can't worry about them. Everybody that dies deserved it. Okay. And that's hard to hear for a lot of people, because it'll be family members. It may even be your wife, your woman, your boyfriend, whoever's listening. Okay. But you got to know the Lord already purposed what's going to happen. Okay. The Lord is never not in control. Okay. Ever. Okay. Let me get to the point and I'm going to close it. Verse 14, 2 Ezra 15 and 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell there. And it says the whole world. Because when this goes down in America, just know that the whole global earth is going to feel it. Okay. Just look at what happened with just a tariff war and how that affected the global economy. okay? Because the U.S. Now, if America's rioting, there's riots everywhere. They're fighting. The highways are closed off. There's famines in different parts. What do you think that's going to do to the global markets, man? You know, it's going to be a panic, okay? People are going to be rioting all over the place, man, okay? All over the world, okay? You see? And then World War III is going to be afoot. So people are definitely going to be panicking. All right? It says, verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And see, this is where this can escalate. All right? Where these Marines, they're just going to be following orders. They're not worried about, you know, they don't need qualified immunity, okay? They're under the orders of the president, okay? And if he declares martial law, good luck, okay? It's going to be every man for himself. And it says, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power, okay? And so eventually these Marines are gonna wild out too, man. You got police officers that are gonna be on duty. They're gonna have decisions to make, okay? But they gotta think about their families, okay? You think they want to respond to a bunch of riots and protests? No, they're gonna go home where their armory is, where their guns are. They're gonna want to protect their family, feed their family. You see? And this is why the Charagma is going to be such an attractive solution for law enforcement, for these military guys, and everybody else that just wants things to be normal again. To see, there's going to be a group of individuals that know that this is bullshit, okay? Especially a lot of these evangelicals, these so-called white militia groups. All right, they're going to know what's up, man, okay? And they're going to fight. And the men of the Lord, we're going to be out of there, man. We're going to be out of the way, okay? We're going to do what we have to do if we encounter it. Every man's going to have his test, but you know, you people that forsook the Lord, you're not going to have any idea what's going on. You're not going to have Isaiah 33:6. Okay. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled and the houses shall be destroyed. So, like, I guess I got to do a part 2. I put the do not disturb on, and it still comes through, man. And it's damn spam. Anyway, it says, verse 16, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So everybody's going to bitch up. Okay, even men that have guns, they're still going to be scared. Because they know you can't, they know it's all over the place. They know the entire country is crumbling. So those guns you got, it only gives you so much peace of mind, and it's all on borrowed time anyway. Okay, you're gonna feel like it's crunch time. Okay, you're gonna feel like that major exam that you know you didn't study for. You know, it says, and a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the... It says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, you see? So that's what we got coming to America, man. So I'll end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call hello, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rachakadash Alawam Kwam Yasharallah.